A fed-up warrior here. We've been seeing a lot of information involving the Broward County election office and this young lady right here. This is Brenda Snipes. She has been the focus of some major corruption over the years. One thing I'm going to do is break down her inner circle and why that's very important to understand. And I'm not just talking present company included. People from her past is going to count into this as well, because it is important for you to understand why all this has come down to this today. You're probably sitting here going, wait a minute, what's this guy got to do with anything? Jeb Bush put her into this position in 2004. Down the road, I'm gonna eventually do a YouTube video explaining what happened in 1972. People are getting it mixed up. There was a swap between Democrats and Republicans. Wasn't no damn swap. That was an infiltration. And his family has a lot to do with that infiltration. We'll explain that down the road. But he's the guy that put her in place. Keep that in mind. We've got this young lady right here, Miss Debbie Wasserman-Schultz herself. Why is this all important? I'm gonna make this simple. I'm gonna connect some dots here and give you an idea how Miss Snipes and Miss Wasserman-Schultz has had a pretty lengthy relationship, i.e. how a lot of the battles in the primaries and the main elections over the years may have not been on the up and up. And I'm going to break that down for you. Now, Miss Snipes been under fire as of late because she had to fulfill a deadline. It was back on Friday at 11 a.m. Obviously, she has not fulfilled that deadline. In just a second, you're about to see what kind of shady tricks this young lady's up to.
Can you just update us where things are on the count right now? Just in general.
Could I please get a moment to go into the room and find out?
Sure.
Okay. When I come back, I'll let you know.
But Dr. Snipes, it is now Thursday. Mm-hmm. We are still counting ballots in Broward County. 5
pages or 6 pages for each of the people who voted.
But other counties have been able to do it.
But other counties didn't have 600,000 votes out there.
Well, Miami-Dade did.
Well, have you been inside Miami? Never mind. Let me go check. I'll check.
But it's a serious issue. It always seems like it is.
It's a serious issue with me. I've been doing this now since October 22nd.
But if it's a serious issue with you...
We ran 22 sites. We ran 14 days. We ran 12 hours. We had a big vote by mail. So don't try to turn it around to make it seem like I'm making comedy out of this.
I don't think anybody's making. But the question, but there are serious questions.
Very unfortunate that some of the highest elected officials in our country are trying to disrupt our democracy because they don't like the demographics of our voters. I would wish that they would allow us to continue to count the ballots. We're just doing our job in accordance with law.
How is that disrupting you?
It's not disrupting me. It's disrupting in the public.
I want you to clarify when you talk about
I'm not going to clarify that the demographics of our county, they don't like them, and you know why. That's all I have to say.
And add insult to injury. You got these damn trucks showing up with around an estimate, last I checked, was around 43,000 ballots. And I'm about to show you in just a second a new development, i.e. with Q, involving an affidavit, involving an eyewitness testimony with the shady activity that these people are up to. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This is pretty damn shady. And here in just a little bit, I'm about to explain why. Here in just a bit, I'm about to show you the affidavit. There's a part of my Fed Up Warrior I did on Facebook that I'm going to reveal to you on how crooked these people really are. The affidavit alone should validate the idea that there have been some serious voter issues there in Broward County for some time. I'm going to read the first couple of deals here because this is important. My name is Chelsea Marie Smith. I am over the age of 18 and I have sound mind and I have personal knowledge of the facts contained in this affidavit. I was employed through a temporary employment agency, K-Force, and was working full-time at the Broward County Supervisor of Elections, hereafter SOE. Main office in Lauderhill, Florida. My duties included clerical work as well as delivering various items as needed throughout the office. My regular hours was from 8 a.m. until approximately 9 p.m. depending on the need. As an employee, I regularly checked in and out of the work required. As part of my regular duties, I frequently handed absentee ballots, including time stamping, registered new voter residences, and sorting and delivering ballots to the various sections of the SOE headquarters. One of my supervisors, Dozell Spencer, has received the various ballots with me as part of my training. As such, I am very familiar with the appearances of these ballots. On October 31st, 2016, about 8:30 p.m., I was instructed by my supervisor, Charlotte Skipman Smith, to carry a stack of absentee ballot request forms to another room in the building, which they were referred to as the Pitney Bowles room. I have never previously been asked to go to that room. When I got to the Pitney Bowles room, I found that the entrance door was locked and required a security number to gain entrance. I was never provided with the security number, so I could not enter the room on my own. The door had a long, thin window, which was uncovered. Although I knocked several times, the people were inside were too busy to notice. Though the door window, I couldn't clearly see the 4 SOE employees sitting at the table with stacks of documents and writing something. Eventually, one of the employees opened the door, took the ballots from me, and closed the door. I was not let into the room, and the employee seemed very rushed. From the door window, I was unable to determine what documents were on the table. I then returned to my regular workplace. I was asked then to deliver another stack of absentee ballot request forms to the same room. Once again, the employees initially ignored my knocking. I looked through the door window and could clearly see 4 SOE employees sitting at a table. Each person had a stack of documents next to them on one side and another stack on the other side, and they were all writing something on each document. Eventually, an employee opened the door for me and in a very hurried pace allowed me in the room and told me to place the ballots on a different table. Once in the room, I could see 4 SOE employees sitting at the table actively filling out election ballots, ladies and gentlemen. She is witnessing election fraud. Each had a stack of blank ballots to the right of them, about an inch high, and a stack of completed ballots to their left. There were perhaps a dozen in each completed stack. I could see that the bubbles on the right stack had not been filled in, while the bubbles on the left stack had been blackened in. I could also see the employees filling the bubbles as they moved the ballots from right to left. I witnessed this activity for over a minute. I could see that the SOE employees were using the same black pens, white body with a black cap. That's the normal basic, that's them damn cheap pens you can get at Walmart for like 99 cents a pack. That the SOE supplies to voters in the polling sites. I was then told to leave the room by the employee on the table. I completed other duties in another section of the building and left about 30 minutes later. When I arrived home, I told my mother, Michelle Castanelos, what I had seen. It was initially frightening to report this activity to anyone at the SOE for fear of retaliation. The following day, I reported for work at the same office at 9 a.m., performed my regular duties, and took my lunch break at a regular time. When I returned from lunch at 12:30, I was met by a uniformed security guard at the SOE entrance and told that I had been terminated and was forced to immediately turn over my SOE credentials. I was warned that I was no longer welcome in the SOE building and that I should never return. I was given no explanation for this action. I was able to determine the identity of one of the SOE employees using the Facebook site for the SOE office. The employee was Mary Hall. I recognized Miss Hall from a group picture of SOE employees which posted on the SOE Facebook page. I had also seen photographs of Mary Hall with her name on the walls in the SOE buildings. Finally, Mary Hall's Facebook page lists her employment with the SOE office. Thus, I can say that I saw Mary Hall, an SOE employee, sitting at the table in the Pitney Bowles room, actively completing ballots with an SOE pen and placing them in a stack. Mary Hall was also an employee who told me to leave the room. I am executing this affidavit freely and voluntarily. I have not been pressured or criticized in any manner to provide this testimony. I am willing to fully cooperate with law enforcement in the investigation and prosecution of this matter. There's her signature right there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you something right now. This woman's got some history, okay? Let's go back to 2016. Court ruling in May ruled that Broward County election supervisor Brenda Snipes illegally destroyed ballots from a 2016 congressional race. The governor's office announced the Friday Department of State and would send election experts to Snipes' office to ensure that all laws are followed and observe the administration of the election. I got news for you. If I was the governor, she'd be out of a damn job. And even took part of this. You knew there were going to be scrutiny, okay? See, even beyond her own reprimand, first of all, why is nobody above her reprimanding her? I don't get this at all. For authorizing the destruction of those ballots. Those ballots may have voted the other way, but she got rid of them, okay? She got rid of them illegally. Snipes cannot deny the department's patchy track record. Yeah, you can't deny it, but you're sitting there laughing at people because you think you can get away with it. One thing the election officials in Florida need to understand, if this woman is not for the right purpose and the rule of law, she needs to go. That is a damn door. In 2016, early voting results for Broward were posted a half hour before the polls closed in violation of election law. Her office was sued unsuccessfully because of a constitutional amendment was missing from some mail-in ballots. The electronic system was used by county was also later found to have targeted by Russian government hackers. On multiple occasions, there have been problems with printing mail ballots. And in the August primaries, Broward was the last county to post the election results. Why is this county always the last county to post their results? I don't understand this at all. That's some shady mess right there. Now, according to Washington Examiner, okay, all this trouble goes back to 2000. When freaking George W. Bush went against Al Gore. What was the one county in Florida that gave them trouble? Broward. That was before Brenda Snipes took over as freaking head of the damn county election office there in Broward County. They have had trouble. But it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. They have had trouble in 2002. Bush put her in 2003. The next disaster. This was the first disaster involving Snipes. Snipes botched the election in 2004. Worse than her predecessor. Reporting 58,000 absentee ballots had been lost in the mail. She later lowered that number to 6,000. To fix her own mistake, Snipes had 5,600 replacement absentee ballots mailed ahead of the election. Now, this is where the connection with her and Debbie Wasserman Schultz draws up some very suspicious activity. With Snipes in charge, they never did. In fact, the election supervisor ended up in court for illegally destroying ballots in the 2016 race between Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her primary challenger, Tim Canova. State law required the elections office preserve ballots on a federal election for 22 months. Snipes destroyed the paper ballots after 12 months, while at the Sun Sentinel notes that they were still subject in a pending lawsuit. So this woman has had a history of tampering, intentional tampering, ladies and gentlemen. This woman should not just seek re-election. She should be arrested for her crimes. And right now, I smell yet another crime. You people live in Florida, specifically Broward County, you need to stand up to this. This is corruption, ladies and gentlemen. Do not let this happen again. It's happened too many times on her watch, and it should not happen anymore. Folks, get the word out, please, and please share this video. Thank you.